I signed the divorce papers, moved my things out, and still catch myself checking my phone like I'm waiting for permission to have left. On a daily level, this is what my life looks like now. I wake up alone in a quiet apartment I picked because it was close to work, not because it felt like home. I go through the same morning routine I had when I was married. Coffee, shower, keys in the same order, but without anyone else in the room. My phone is usually the first thing I reach for, not to text my ex, but to see if someone is waiting again. A friend asking how I'm holding up. A family member sending a thinking of you message that ends with, you know they always meant well. On weekends, there are fewer distractions, and that's when the doubt gets loud. I replay memories while doing laundry or sitting in traffic, not because something new happened, but because nothing is happening now to drown it out. When I'm around people, the story is always the same. Someone says, marriage is hard. Someone else says, no one's perfect. They list the good things about my spouse before I can even respond. At family gatherings, there's a pause after someone asks how I'm doing, like they're waiting to see if I'll say I'm open to fixing it. When I say I'm still processing, the follow-up is almost always, but they weren't trying to hurt you. That line shows up everywhere. It's said gently, like comfort, but it lands heavy. I tell myself I might just be sensitive. I wonder if I focus too much on what went wrong instead of appreciating what was there. Sometimes I catch myself minimizing it the same way everyone else does. I'll think, maybe I expected too much. Maybe this is just what long marriages look like. I even defend the situation in my head by reminding myself there were no big explosions, no clear moment where everything fell apart. That makes it easier to question whether leaving was necessary. We met in a normal way. A mutual friend invited us both to a small get-together after work. We talked about our jobs, complained about traffic, laughed about how awkward it was being set up. There was nothing dramatic about it. It felt easy. We kept seeing each other because it fit into our lives without disruption. That felt important at the time. Early on, what felt safe was the structure. We had routines. We planned ahead. Decisions were made calmly. There wasn't a lot of emotional chaos. I remember thinking this was what being grown-up looked like. Things were predictable. Arguments ended without yelling. It reduced my anxiety because I knew what to expect. The first shifts were small. Conversations that used to happen easily started getting postponed. I'd bring something up, and it would be met with, "Can we talk about this later?" Later rarely came. When it did, the topic would be smoothed over quickly, like it wasn't worth digging into. I told myself that was maturity. Not every issue needs to be a big discussion, right? I brushed it aside because nothing overtly bad happened. Over time, that pattern repeated. In public, everything looked fine. We were polite, coordinated, even affectionate in a way that read as stable. In private, I learned which topics made the atmosphere heavy and which ones kept things calm. Silence was rewarded with peace. Speaking up led to tension that never actually resolved, just lingered. So I edited myself. I chose my words carefully or didn't use them at all. My world got smaller in ways that didn't feel dramatic enough to complain about. When friends asked how married life was, I said it was good. When family checked in, I said we were solid. I heard myself explaining away things that bothered me, saying they were just misunderstandings or differences in communication. I know this sounds small, but it added up. I also know people would say every relationship has compromises. That became my script. I stayed for concrete reasons. We had built a life together, shared finances, shared history, shared expectations from everyone around us. Leaving meant disrupting more than just my own routine. Even now, after leaving, I realize part of me is still staying in the story because I want someone to tell me I wasn't wrong. I want validation that what I experienced counts, even if it doesn't come with a dramatic label. Leaving turned out to be harder than it looked because the consequences didn't end when I walked out. There's the practical stuff, untangling accounts, explaining the situation repeatedly, adjusting to being alone, but there's also the social cost. Every conversation becomes a quiet debate. People don't ask what happened, they offer interpretations. Conflict avoidance runs deep. It's easier for everyone to believe good intentions erase impact. That leaves me holding a decision that no one else seems fully convinced by. The turning point wasn't a fight or a discovery. It was the accumulation of being told, over and over, that nothing was technically wrong. I realized I was constantly explaining myself to feel okay about wanting something different. Even after I left, that didn't stop. The doubt just moved with me. Right now, I'm aware, but not settled. I trust that I made the choice I needed to make, but I still search for permission in other people's reactions. In quiet moments, loneliness tries to rewrite itself as regret. I have to remind myself that being alone isn't proof I was wrong. Still, the question keeps coming back, especially when everyone around me agrees my spouse meant well. If everyone else excuses it, was it really that bad?